And I've seen this truck online for 15 years.
Here it is.
And here it is in the flesh.
Yep.
You get the motor in right now or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of.
Kind of?
Just sitting in there.
Surprised how close those blues are.
Yeah, I know. And they're not from the same family either.
Right.
So should be pretty cool. Well, looking at it, looks like I have a little bit more room to route low than the factory, just judging by yours.
Yeah.
Because you were saying something about that. Yeah, since I put this bumper on here yesterday, it looks like I leveled out the wheel wells, but just go ahead and set that right there.
Ooh, you're brave.
I gotta pull it out anyway if I break, so. So I think I'm either gonna lower the back a little bit or raise the front. I'm not sure. I always like the idea of lowering it, but.
So what does it measure out at right now?
I didn't even measure it.
You're just eyeballing it?
Yeah, just from kind of looking at it, kind of angles down.
And you have the same size tire front and rear right now?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if that could make a difference of appearances if it's
definitely
one way or the other. You have a bigger tire.
Yeah.
Looks higher in the fender and then also makes the truck sit higher.
Mm-hmm.
But.
Did that. Did weld this in almost fully yesterday. Started metal finishing a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But give me just a little bit more room for some meats in the back. It looks like it's a little wider, which doesn't really bother me too much. But
Yeah, it's kind of a fake wide body.
Yeah.
Poor man wide body.
Exactly.
But no, it looks good.
I'd rather bought the kit on that one.
It turned out better than I thought it would, because you had those like the sharp transitions initially when you had it sitting on there.
Yeah, so the body, it was weird. I was trying to line the body line up with this body line since it, it goes all the way across, but
right.
The wheel well, that's where actually the body line was. So I guess that's about how much taller my front end is. But yeah, that would looked all weird. But once I'm going to bring this line all the way down, because I believe the front bumper has this face going all the way down. So I'm going to do that and then kind of just fade that out. I keep debating on what to do about that, but I think I'm just going to leave it because the factory F150s fit pretty much like that. So if it's good enough for Ford, it's good enough for me. And I'm ready to be done with it.
Yeah, and that's something you can change later. It's not like it's a exterior bolt-on part's not hard to do.
Yeah, exactly.
So then that's your new filler neck.
Yep, new filler neck to my gas tank. I used my original door and whatever you want to call it, bezel, out of my old bed, just to keep it somewhat the old truck. Same with these little filler pieces. I cut these out of my bed when I was thinking about it. The that gas filler tunnel was right there, so that is, these are actually the back side of my old bed.
Yep.
Did that. I'm gonna get a new Super Duty gate for it. Since this I did this in probably 2008.
And you just skinned the gate is what you did at the time, or?
No, I shaved the handle.
Okay, I was just seeing all the tacks up here.
Yeah, that was for the original plastic, and then I did that and decided I really didn't want to mess with it anymore, so I just painted the cap and put the cap back on it.
Right.
And it was a daily driver, so I was also hauling dirt bikes and stuff, so I'm like, I'm not gonna do all this work and then just put a ramp on it and scratch it all up. So
I'm jealous of the smooth roof though. The Super Crew has the stupid gutters and the dropped ridges and all that.
Right here?
Yeah, just the whole roof. The Super Crew has the deep gutters here, and then like gutter all the way across.
I wonder why they do that. I guess because it's longer.
Yeah,
Straight.
rigidity of the hoods of the roof, so the roof doesn't resonance. But this looks nice too.
Yeah, I like that. I'm debating on either just smoothing that out and then putting a small LED, like maybe in that crack right there, just to kind of eliminate some.
Oh, okay. Shave it completely. That'd be cool.
Kind of take a little bit of the 90s off of it, since that light doesn't really bother me, but.
Are you gonna keep that ridge on it, or are you gonna?
Yeah, just pretty much just follow that.
I didn't know if you were talking like completely smooth
Yeah. Well,
smooth.
actually, I thought about that too, just to kind of box in the cab a little bit more.
Right.
But I kind of like the way this tailgate has this little.
Yeah, a little bit of a spoiler to it.
So I think both of those would kind of look cool since they're already there. But however it turns out,
Yeah.
I'll be happy with it.
I've been thinking about painting my back window surround, and everybody paints in body color, and I think I want to do mine gloss black.
I was thinking about that too. It kind of
It could it'd make the window look bigger.
that's what I was saying, like a big back window. Like,
Yeah.
That's what everybody wants. So I thought about that too. But
And I think, and you can even see it on yours, how the height of the side windows
Yeah.
look bigger than the back window,
Yeah.
and I feel like that would match.
yeah, because this line, I mean, here's where the window stops. It's
Right.
like 2 or 3 inches
Yeah.
lower on the sides. Do that. Of course, the 5.5 foot bed. I'm almost used to it now, so it doesn't really look too weird to me.
Yeah.
It looks like it should.
Well, and it's more complete now, so you're kind of on that. Just yeah. Get some notes scratched in here or sharpied.
Yeah. What does that say?
5/8.
5/8 to top. No, I guess that was part of the bed cut I was doing.
So you're gonna shave the door on this side, or what's your?
Yeah, I'll shave the door when I get into the flare on this side. I need to go get 2 more fenders from my favorite junkyard.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Have you already centered your axle?
pretty close. I kind of got it roughed in there.
But I mean,
to
like
where-
you feel confident enough that you
Yeah.
don't have the truck one way or the other, that you would suddenly you would think you have more clearance than you do, and then you go put this side together and.
Yeah, it's pretty close. I know I can get there with the adjustments and the Heims, but haven't really. I think I measured it right when I was done, and I was pretty happy with it. I can't remember what it was,
But you know what I'm saying? Like if the axle was towards the driver's side,
yeah, the panhard.
you're gonna look like you have more room for bigger tire on the
Yeah.
other side.
And actually, I think now that I'm looking at it, it looks like this side's a little further this way. So
That's why I was asking. It looks like we might be slightly this way,
Yeah.
but before you start actually ordering wheels and tires.
Yeah, exactly. But the bed is also looks like it might be scooched a little bit that way.
Sure.
So I don't know. I haven't gotten to the point where I'm super dialing it in yet, which is coming up pretty soon. But just kind of.
You already have the rest of your drive line figured out, drive shaft and all that, or?
Yeah, I'm just gonna get one made. Casey's got a few extra spares on the shelf, so I'm just gonna. He said I gotta have the parts off of them, so I'll rob the flanges and stuff and just get one made. I do need to notch that cross member, the cab cross member,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm definitely gonna hit that.
But something like that is easy enough to start doing in the background, because like once you get the truck mostly back together, you're going to be like, I want to drive it, and it's
Yeah.
like, well, now I gotta measure all this stuff, now I gotta order stuff, now I gotta wait a week for them to build it and all that. So
Yeah, I could probably go ahead and measure the drive shaft now since everything's in where it's gonna be. But
yeah. And then what year dash is this that you put in here?
Interior, the year 07 to 14,
Okay.
basically. I don't remember exactly what it came out of. It's kind of a wreck in there, but
Yeah.
it's all bolted in. The column bolts in like it should out of a 07.
And you
Expedition.
swap the actual dash beam too, right?
Yeah, well, you got to cut it out because it's welded into the truck, and this
Yeah.
one bolts in
Right.
as the frame of the dash.
So did you make that a bolt-in piece now, or did you
Yeah,
weld
it
it?
bolts in just like factory.
Okay.
Nut certed it everywhere that it had nut certs in the Expedition, and it's funny because I actually had there was 2 brackets that Ford reused off of the old dash on the Expedition, so I was lucky enough that I only had to make 2 brackets for it,
Right.
and then obviously nut cert the A-pillars, and the AC actually blows out of the vents like factory, and the AC controller works like it should. That's the only thing I've figured out as far as electronics go.
Right.
That's a 05, I believe, F250.
Center stack.
Yeah. And it just fit right in there. It didn't bolt in, but just had to modify it a little bit. And
Right.
fit right in. And,
Cut some different plastic tabs off.
yep. And then it kind of just wedged in there. Trying to see what's not supposed to go on the truck that you can put on there.
Right. Yeah, the console looks good.
Yeah, I'm pretty
How
happy with
do
it.
you mind if I jump in
Yeah,
it?
go ahead.
Okay. I was just curious how claustrophobic it feels with the bigger.
Oh, that should work.
It didn't.
It's just a little hung.
Okay.
It's not quite adjusted.
I didn't want to be too rough with it. I was curious how.
Well, you're already
I know
large.
I'm a big boy, but I was curious how much space.
That's actually electronic.
But that actually feels like there's more room here.
Does it?
Yeah.
The seat might not be exactly where it should be either, but
And maybe the steering wheel's up a little bit higher too, maybe?
is it?
I don't know. Interesting.
It's so weird. I ride in my newer truck and I sit in this one. I feel like I'm like up above
Yes,
the dash,
yes.
and then in the F-150, I'm like in
Yeah.
a tank.
And I've had people go for a ride in Fitty, and the especially on the 10th gen dash, because it like drops off really low. They'll get in it and they're like, I don't feel safe.
Yeah. And you're low, so you're like,
Yeah, it's like the truck's low and you're sitting up really high in the truck, and then the dash drops down and you just don't have this like cocoon feeling that you have in modern cars.
yeah. Well,
But sweet.
I was trying to integrate the airbags, but I'm not sure that I'll be able. Definitely won't be able to make the steering wheel work. I don't think.
But just having something there that
Yeah,
fills the
nothing
hole is
covered.
good enough.
Yeah. I'm actually gonna put the Gen 2 Raptor wheel with the paddle shifters on that. It's got the same keyway, so
Okay.
get that and hopefully get it.
But
work.
that's a different keyway than the factory, the 02, 03 would
yeah,
have been,
they're
right?
they're hex on these, and then they're splined on the 03, 97 to 03.
Yep.
And then hopefully, maybe with a little bit of your help, I can get these 2017 gauges to work with the screen and dash that will be good for nothing but looks.
Right. And so they're just sitting in there right now.
Yeah, I've got the 17, the 17 bezel, and it clicks right in, so just a little bit different brackets made. And
Yeah, so like I said, basically what I did with mine is I took the donor cluster completely apart to where it's just the shell or the center, and then I took apart the 03 cluster, and then I inserted it, and then I put it back together. I know that's simplifying a 10-hour day,
yeah,
but
yeah. Well, I don't know how this one I can get to fit as it is, but running it is going to be the question, which I think, since my computer will be basically a 17.
right.
thing.
But are you running a factory harness, or are you running a control pack?
Control pack.
Okay. But you're using a factory PCM with that?
Yeah.
It's crazy how much that looks like a cowl hood, but it's not.
Yeah.
It almost from here, it almost looks like a reverse cowl.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when I first got it, I was always that bump sticking up right there. I'm like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Kind of like just waiting on the grill for the front end. It's 3 weeks out.
Everything's on hold,
Mm-hmm.
but you got plenty to do between now and then. So
Oh yeah.
it's not like that's your finishing touch, but
It's one of the few things I'm trying to get it off all the framework done. That way I can pull the frame off, get it powder coated, get the door jambs cut in, and get it back on the frame.
and is this like a fender flare that would attach here? Is that what?
I'll try to avoid that, but to run the Expedition has two different fog light styles. They both have the same opening,
Right.
but one has a circle, one like the old style,
Okay.
the Ranger
Yeah.
thing, and then the other one is the rectangle one that goes across.
Yep. That's true.
So the lower models didn't have fender flares or that, so basically I have to run this if I want the fog light.
Right.
So I'm gonna have to shave those, which sucks because this wasn't the cheapest set of plastic I've ever put on here.
Did you move your control arm pockets out some?
No?
Yeah. I just it looked like there's a
Oh, weld.
welding right there,
No, I
but
did spray a bunch of degreaser and stuff, so it pulled a lot of the
and I'm also
coating off.
kind of surprised that I mean, I know you haven't done alignment on it, but I'm kind of surprised that the cam bolts are that far in.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually pretty cambered in
Yeah.
too, so. Been on and off a few times, so it's kind of just left it alone. But all the inner structure went in pretty good.
Yep.
I did have to move the radiator support bracket forward an inch or so, which gave me a little bit more engine room.
Yeah, no complaint there. Are you gonna run F150 fans, or are you running something else?
No, yeah, actually the Expedition, the 07 Expedition. I guess I can just open this since there's light. 07 Expedition uses the same radiator as my truck out there, basically the 11 to 14. So you can use all the 11 to 14 radiator fan, condenser, everything, just bolt right in. And hopefully, if I get lucky, I can run possibly either the 6R80 Expedition trans cooler lines or the F150 ones.
It's a nice plate.
Yeah, that's Casey's. I'm just borrowing it.
I'm sure with as many as y'all do in here, it was worth the investment.
Yeah, I think it's used a lot. Another cool thing, I was actually able to use the Expedition firewall bearing.
Oh, okay.
It came with the dash that I bought, the whole front clip. So I'm like, oh, I might as well use that since the column and everything was already with it. So
yeah,
worked out pretty good and put my steering in a decent spot.
And believe me, mine was in and out several times too. But
this is about the third time it's been in there.
Well, mine was in and out several times to fit the oil pan.
Yeah, which you saved me.
I saved you several in and outs, so you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you for that. That was my first step, like what oil pan? Because I figured it probably wouldn't go in as easy as I wanted it to. So I think I even asked you about that.
Yep.
What you used.
Yeah, I've had several people ask me. So you're going to run the Expedition heater core eventually? Or is that your factory?
That's the factory.
Okay.
I'll probably just run that. Definitely change it while the dash is out because it's the factory one.
Although I will say, I'm, knock on wood, wherever, I'm running on my original.
Are you?
And it's 18 years old now. Yeah. But one thing that makes me feel better about running the old one or running the original one, is the Coyote runs cooler.
Okay.
So it runs like 208 to 210, whereas I think the 10th gen was more like 215, 220, something like that. It's just a little bit less heat. Plus I'm running 85 in it, which is cooler running too.
Yeah.
But
well, my main worry would be how much acidity built up in the coolant because I never changed it at all. In
and
200,000 miles.
I had several flushes in mine, and then my concern was the Coyote is a 3/4 line and the 10th gen is a 5/8 line, and I was like, I'm worried if I step it down, am I gonna then ramp the pressure up and blow the side of the heater core out?
Yeah, didn't think about that.
But it's been fine.
I think probably one of the hardest, or one of the things you got to figure out to do a Coyote swap on these trucks is figure out your power steering setup.
Right.
Because you can go a lot of different ways, but.
And that's the Coyote compressor you have on there right now?
Yeah, that's Coyote.
Okay.
I'll probably just run that because I'm going to have to make a line, at least one, probably two. So if I got to make one, might as well just have the newer one set up one that's been on the motor. So.
Right. It saves you'll spend a couple $100 to make lines, but you'll save $100 to buy a bracket. So. And
we have all the tools to make AC lines here.
Okay.
So.
Is that the Expedition booster then too?
Nope, that's my.
That's your original booster? Yeah. Okay.
All sun faded from sitting in my driveway with the hood off of it.
It looks, I don't know if it's because the cowl's different, but it looks like it sticks out further.
Oh yeah.
Than mine does, but.
I think you got a little bit more plastic in that.
That's true. Yeah, that little wiper cowl and that lip.
I've always liked that, how they kind of recess the.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of cool. Not a lot of love for these trucks, but
no. There's a few of us that are stupid enough to still play with them.
If it was a Chevy, on the other hand, it would.
You could buy all these parts for like $85, and someone will do it in their sleep in their backyard.
But I guess that's why it's actually a pretty cool truck, really. Though I mean,
yeah, no, I dig it.
I like the platform of them.
Yep.
Pretty tough, and I never had to hardly do anything but change coil packs and 250,000 miles.
And this was a 4.6 truck, or
yep, 4.6.
Okay.
4.6.
Yeah, I always thought it's funny going that it's the 5-liter is literally exactly between the 4.6 and the 5.4 on the displacement. And it's like it could have been a 5.2 or whatever. Like it could have been anywhere in that range and still been in the family, but just the fact that it's
right in the center.
It's exactly centered.
I guess after this blows up, I'll have to get me a 5.4. I've been trying to think, but I'm just on how I'm going to do it. But until I get in there, I really don't really know which the control pack I've hooked up before a few times on other trucks, but they didn't already have wiring in them, so it's going to be a little bit of research, but it shouldn't be too bad. And I got your phone number, so I can just call you and say, hey, do I need this?
Yeah, and I wish I was a little closer. I'd come play with it more often, but
well, maybe when I get there and you're free.
Although an air-conditioned shop in summer of Texas sounds pretty appealing, though.
Yeah, I mean, I can't complain. That's probably how I've gotten most of this stuff done. Otherwise, I'd just be sitting in my driveway. I'd be looking mad.
I can't tell you the number of nights and days that I worked out in, whether that's 100 degrees in the garage or 35 degrees in the garage, and it's like that's something that YouTube doesn't appreciate.
Oh, no.
And like you can say it's 100 degrees, but until you've actually felt the oppressive heat of 100 degrees pounding on your body, and all that. But
it's funny because when I was building this truck the first time, I was needed a front end, and I didn't know what to use. Like I really wanted the STX like you have, and then couldn't find one. Tried to get everybody, and I guess they were newer then too, so it was hard to find.
Yeah, but people didn't take off an upgraded part like that.
Yeah.
Like
junkyards, it was hard to
and
find that model.
And most junkyards are going to be wrecked trucks, especially in the front end.
Yeah, exactly. So then I was debating, and then I looked at the Navigator swap, and I was like, not really for me. And then the 03 Expedition was done, and I was like, it's been kind of overdone. And this was in 07, and the Expedition just came out. So, and then also the F250 had came out too then. So I was debating on either, cutting and grafting the F250 front end, which I'm glad I didn't, because I know how that would have turned out.
Yeah, this is a little bit more of a bolt-on.
Yeah. So
the fact that the fenders still play nice, and
it kind of set me up for success as far as radiator, and not that I would need more clearance, but it never really hurts for fan clearance.
Yeah, and that was something I was actually looking at on mine when I went to actually put the fans in. Is I was thinking about moving the radiator forward an inch or two, or inch and a half, something like that, because I was like, it'd be nice to have a little bit more space in here, but because those factory fans are just so big, they're 3 inches deep.
I think my cold air intake, I can just go get a stock box off of 11 to 14, and I was looking at my truck. I think it goes right in and bolts right in, so kind of used a lot of the stuff off Expeditions on F150s, which I wasn't really aware of. But
you don't want to use the stock 03 air box like I did?
If it fit, I would actually, but that's kind of...
I've had several people that see that and they start laughing, and they're like, why? And I'm like, why not?
Yeah.
It fits the studs into the fender liner, or the fender tower, whatever you want to call it, strut tower, or inner fender. There you go.
Yeah.
And I was like, it bolts in exactly like I wanted to, and it had the right inside diameter inside the housing, so I just cut off the parts I didn't need. And
it's actually sucking in cold air instead of engine air.
Correct. And then it adds kind of a little bit of the sleeper aspect to mine, that it, like, if you didn't know what you're looking at, if you're used to looking at a ton of 03s and you see that air box, you probably wouldn't even.
Oh yeah.
You probably just think I painted the valve covers or something.
Yeah, if you didn't really know too much about cars, you could look at your engine bay and just be like, everything looks factory in there. So that's the way to do it, for sure. Don't want to run over that on Monday.
Make for a bad day.
Yeah.
Sweet, man.
Can't wait to get her fired up in the next couple years.
What the truck's a 2000, right? Or 01?
01.
01.
Yep, 01. Got it in
So you're only a couple years away from being out of emissions anyways.
probably.
It's 2 to 24 is emissions test. So you would be
What, 2 to what?
2 to 24
What does that mean?
from the vehicle age of 2 years to the vehicle age of 24 years.
Oh, okay.
So when you get a new car, it has a 2-year sticker on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the 2-year, so like you're 14, at 2016 was the first year of inspections. And then on your 14, would be 2038 would be the last year.
Oh, wow.
So on this one, 01, the first inspection with emissions would have been 03, and then your last one will be 2025.
Not too bad. I'll be done by then, so I won't have to worry about getting inspected. Just kidding. It should be done before that, or it'll never get done.
I would hope it's done sooner than that. But yeah, I've been counting down the years on mine.
Yeah.
I only have a couple more. Mine's an 03, but
I just realized that the truck is 20 years old.
yeah.
It's a good birthday present for it, I guess.
Yeah.
Getting her back on the road.
Well, that was kind of, mine was turning 18.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, oh, she's all grown up.
Yeah.
She's got a big boy power plant now.
Get out there and be somebody.
Yep. But
Well,
sweet.
so we're going to go see what that Coyote feels like in the old 50.
Yeah. We can do that, and I'd like to take a peek under the hood of the Lightning too
Yeah.
before Casey disappears.